traffic. That's the 11T car again. Tyler Reddick right behind him as they come off turn 2 down the back straightaway. And these drivers in front of them, they are racing for position. They do not want to go a lap down because that will end your bid pretty much winning this race. So you want to fight to stay in front of the leaders. As you see the white car, the 28 of Jimmy Mars, one of the best in dirt late models, set to go a lap down. Just goes to show you how tough this race really is.
Oh, and Don O'Neill, who's had so much success this season, is out early. The Optima batteries onboard shot showing him sitting there dead stick. You mentioned it before, 7 wins so far this season. He has been on fire, arguably the hottest driver in the series, and it looks like he's going to be out early, and Tyler Reddick blows up a motor. The California kid making a bid for the lead and loses a power plant.
Heartbreak for Don O'Neill, more heartbreak for Tyler Reddick, one of the fastest cars all week here at the Dart Show Me 100. Comes to a stop on the front straightaway. That is surely a tough break for that young driver.
Welcome back to Lucas Oil Speedway for the 20th running of the Dart Show Me 100, presented by Protect the Harvest. Jimmy Owens has been out front since the drop of the green flag. Tyler Reddick, the 16-year-old, got very close but couldn't make it happen, blew up a motor. And Don O'Neill as well. Unfortunately, a tough night. Dave?
A very disappointing exit for Don O'Neill. Don, they're looking at the rear end of your car. What's happened?
I don't know. Something started happening right off the get-go, and then it finally let go there, and, after we run a few laps.
Tough break for Don O'Neill in the Optima Batteries car.
No doubt disappointed, and unfortunately for him, that's the way his season's gone. He's either winning or, unfortunately, at the back of the pack, and that's why he's not leading in the points. And speaking of a tough night, Kevin Sadler will join him.
Yeah, Sadler comes to a stop there on the top side of turn number 2. So that'll bring out another caution. Jimmy Owens, who has led every single lap so far tonight, looking for his 2nd straight win this year in the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series.
I really don't like coming runner-up. I mean, there's nothing worse than having a good car and finishing 2nd. You'd almost rather just run 10th or something like that than to know you had a shot and win and didn't. But last year, Scott had a great season. If you look at his wins, he should have won, but our consistency paid off, and it was our time to, just take heed of our mistakes and not let it happen again. I like the consistency, but I don't like not winning. But, in order to win races, you got to be able to finish them. And the biggest deal is just make sure you're there to win. Go over your parts, get your maintenance program stepped up and everything, and just get it all, finish races. That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do is just finish races. Well, he finishes them, and he finishes them strong on a regular basis, and it's difficult to pick up wins out here, and Tyler Reddick, unfortunately, is feeling that. Aaron?
A tough break for Tyler Reddick. Tyler, you were challenging Jimmy Owens for the lead, and then your night ended early. What happened?
Well, we lost a motor there. It was unexpected. This morning before, we checked the Wahlberg and everything, and all systems was clean. So we should have had no problems. It was unexpected, but we're going to find out what happened. But we had a real fast car. It's a dang shame, and it's one of the few nights we've had a really fast car and be able to charge the front that early. I had a feeling if I was able to get around Jimmy, I was just going to be able to, even if I didn't, we had a long race to go. So, it's a shame. We had a real fast car. We've been close a lot this year and just had stuff get in the way. But we'll see what next week brings as we go to Tazewell and Florence.
A tough night for Tyler Reddick. He's going to be sitting there watching from the sidelines as the crowd jewel continues.
Yeah, the California kid, he's going to lose one here tonight, but he will be in this industry for a long time, unless, of course, somebody picks him up and takes him away because he has a lot of talent.
The Delaware double file restart. The leader out front by himself. The driver running 2nd can choose either the inside or the outside. It looks like Bloomquist taking that outside line as we're back underway.
Yeah, wants to try and keep some of that momentum up. He has Billy Moyer just underneath him, the number 21 car. Scott Bloomquist, and we go on board with Jared Landers from General Tire, currently in 3rd. And Jared Landers, who started a little deep in the field, needless to say, he and Blankenship both digging their way up there, but Landers doing it quickly.
Yeah, inside row number 13 this early. That means Landers, certainly one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. There's the move again on Moyer. And Dennis Erb also getting by the multi-time winner. So a nice little slide job there. You can see this track starting to dry out just a little bit. It's getting wider, as we say, as we go on board with Canada and a former former series rookie of the year, John Blankenship, picked up his first career win in the series last year out at Hagerstown, Maryland. You can see the track continuing to dry out, that cushion beginning to develop. A 3-car battle now for the 8th spot. We heard Don O'Neill mention trouble on the rear part of the race car. For more, let's go down to Dave.
Don O'Neill mentioned a moment ago that he's out with a broken axle. That's a piece back here inside the rear end of the car. It's driven inside this housing. It's a long steel shaft that comes out and drives this rear wheel. Now they can change that axle. They'll have that changed before this race is over, but they can't do it quickly. He's going to lose a number of laps. Just a tough break for Don O'Neill in the 71.
And, of course, the season being long, so he will get back out there if at all possible to try to earn some points. But mathematically, he will also need to pay attention to see if he can get ahead of any of the guys that, of course, he is behind in the points. So if he can't do that, there's not enough laps left in the race, and they'll just call it a night. As we go back out here and watch this battle, low line developing, a high line developing, and Earl Pearson Jr. developing a little bit of a nudge there for Austin Hubbard, who decided to change lanes.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're running the low line. If you drift up early and a guy behind you has a big run coming off the corner, you're going to get bumped, and that's what happened there. EPJ and the Lucas Oil Products number 44 giving him a little nudge saying, I'm up here, buddy. Keep your eyes open, as they both go to the top part of the racetrack. And you can see right there, coming off turn number 4, getting a little bit black. The more and more these guys run the same line, they'll work that dirt off, and this thing will get slick. You heard Aaron talk about rubber going down on the racetrack. We could see it late in this race.
We go back up to the front, and Jimmy Owens again doing a solid job here tonight so far. Has led every lap. It looked like Reddick might get around him, but was not to be before he blew up a motor. One guy he's going to have to be concerned with, though, is Jared Landers, who we talked about. He's come from really deep in the pack. He's had 7 top 10s so far this year, Aaron, including 1 win.
Last year's Rookie of the Year, Jared Landers, coming into tonight was 8th in points with 1 victory so far this season. He started in 25th place, and he's already worked his way up to 3rd place with under 75 laps to go.
Yeah, he has done it so quickly, and we talk about Blankenship being in 10th, and Blankenship started in 27th, so we've got 2 hard chargers coming up through the pack here tonight.
Well, it's good to see Landers this year teaming up with Jonathan Davenport for Clint Boyer Racing. A new ride this year, and he is making the most of it here tonight. Really flinging that thing and running the top part of the racetrack. A very exciting driver to watch. He almost kind of runs it like a non-wing sprint car. He really backs the rear end into the corner when he runs the top part of the racetrack.
And right there through 1 and 2, you can see he was very good. Wendell Wallace, another big name here in the series, who started off in the 9th position inside of row 5. Unfortunately, is pulled to the outside.
2 young guns this year chasing Rookie of the Year honors, the 15D of Jonathan Davenport and the Seaford Delaware number 11 of Austin Hubbard.
It's been a tough battle. Jonathan's been really good, and he's been hard to beat, and he can definitely wheel a car.
I knew Austin a couple years back. You know, we've raced on and off against one another, but we all race each other hard. We all race each other clean, and it'd be definitely a neat thing to win.
I feel like if I want to race, I want to race the best, and he's going to beat me in some, and I'm going to beat him, and I think I'm ready for it.
Well, you know, this is really definitely out of my element. I'm used to going back home and regrouping, being able to work on a few things, but it's fun. You know, it all comes with pros and cons, but I'm having a good time so far.
Both the young kids doing a great job. In fact, Davenport 6th in the points. Stay with us. We'll have more great racing action in a moment. We are back here at the 20th Annual Darts Show Me 100 presented by ProtectTheHarvest.com. We're at Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri. The 20 car of Jimmy Owens has been the class of the field, but not without plenty of pressure along the way. 100 laps in order here tonight. $30,000 to the person that can win it. Right behind him is Scott Bloomquist, of course, the guy that built his car. But since then, Owens has set it up for himself, looking for another win here tonight, as was Wendell Wallace, a 3-time winner, but unfortunately, Dave, it won't happen again.
Well, he's a former winner of this race, but you're out of the race. Wendell, what happened?
One of them restarts when we was 5th there, we doubled up, and I get in the 33 car and bent the right front suspension a bit, and it just went to handling real ill then. So I knew we was in for a long day. We ain't points racing, so it's better to call it off.
You know, everybody's talking about this racetrack, very fast and so forth. What do you think it's going to do now to the rest of the way?
Well, I think it'll slow down the longer the race goes on. I think there'll be more moving around. I think the top's kind of dominant right now with the good cars, and but I think later on, about halfway or something, they'll start to moving all over.
Yeah, well, I think Wendell hit it on the head there. The bottom was good early. The top's good right now, and you're going to see a lot of those slide jobs starting to pick up as we move into later stages of this race. You can see lap number 37 working lap 37 of 100 here in this year's Dart Show Me 100. There is John Blankenship in the number 23 car. Mentioned picking up a win last year. Currently 7th on the racetrack, and you said it earlier, 3 of the last 4 races he has won the Hard Charger Award, and you don't like to have to start at the tail, but he's doing real good so far this year.
Scott Bloomquist, the 0 car, now starting to apply some pressure on Jimmy Owens. You only have to go back 1 season ago, and these two guys really battled. Of course, Bloomquist, a former series champion, and just 1 year ago it was Owens who picked up his first championship, but not without the points lead changing between those two guys, and it looks like they're about to square off. Things have been pretty intense while we were gone to break, and you're taking a look at what's going on now here at the 20th Annual Dart Show Me 100 presented by Protect the Harvest. Jared Landers, who started deep here tonight, worked his way all the way up to the front to take the lead. Unfortunately, he will also endure mechanical problems. That's the path for the lead right there out of the 5 car.
Yeah, nice slide job coming off turn 2 as Jimmy Owens tried to fight back to the inside. Landers now smoking on the racetrack at this point, trying to stay out there, and he's going to run this thing until it blows up, but doing a great job coming from the tail of this field. Don't know if that was tire smoke, if that was oil on the headers. I got to predict it was oil, and now the problem is Terminal looks like as he slows on the racetrack. Owens gets back by. That's Dennis Erb Jr. there.
And Dave Argerbright, it looks as though if you want to take the lead here tonight, you are doomed.
Guys, an interesting thing to note here tonight is that every time somebody comes up to pass Jimmy Owens, they break. Something goes wrong with their race car. I don't know if Owens has got a lucky rabbit's foot in the cockpit with him, but something definitely going his way here tonight up in that race lead position.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell, Dave, what the problem is with Landers as now he slows on the racetrack again down in turns 1 and 2, and it looks like he'll head back to the pit area. So problems terminal for the 5 car of Landers. We saw it with Tyler Reddick, you mentioned them, and of course Jared Landers as well. So tough break if you lead here tonight with the exception of that man, Jimmy Owens.
Aaron Bates is on her way over there to see if she can fill us in on what's happening, so we'll check in with her in just a little bit. But unfortunately for the 5 car, and we talked about him coming from so deep in the pack, and he's had a pretty decent season so far this year as well, but unfortunately for Landers, it looks like it might have been the biggest win in his career, and it's just not going to happen here tonight.
Yeah, he's climbing out and calling it a night. As you see Jimmy Owens to the right of your screen there, continues to lead. So Landers officially will lead 3 laps here tonight in the Show Me 100 as Scott Bloomquist feeling a little bit of pressure from Dennis Erb Jr., the 28 car, the veteran driver out of the state of Illinois. Currently 9th in the points. He ran 24th at the Show Me last year. This is the battle for 2nd.
He has picked up a win so far this season, so don't ever count Erb Jr. out either. He has been pretty consistent throughout the year. As once again we take a look at the 0 car, and now Erb has fallen back just a little bit. Let's get it back down to Aaron Bates. She's caught up with Jared Landers, no doubt disappointed. Aaron?
The number 5 of Jared Landers hot under the collar, and what a disappointment. Right when you took over the lead, you started smoking. Walk us through what happened.
Yeah, there's 6. I couldn't believe we were as good as we were. I lost brakes out there earlier, and power steering went away, and I rode it 10 laps until it started getting back pressure, and I couldn't drive it anymore. Man, I hate it for the team. We worked hard, and I guess if I'm going to lose a race, I'd like to lose it like that.
Such an upset for Jared Landers.
Yeah, that is a heartbreaker to say the least. Your car is that good to come out there and dominate from the back of the pack, and only to have it stripped away because of power steering.